Monster flicks, wine country tours, battles to the death, heartbreaking drama, suspense thrillers. Today's sound artist has been involved in more films you've seen than you probably know, and has 3 Oscar nods to back up their work. We are in Season 3 of Oscar Rewind, and today I am looking at Marvel Studios' The Avengers. Written and directed by Joss Whedon from a story by Whedon and Zach Penn, and based on the Avengers comic series by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the film was released in May 2012 after 4 years of universe building. What's up, everybody? Cinephile Mike here, and it is a new episode of Oscar Rewind, where I look back at the films of this past year's Oscar nominees and winners. Make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of these rollback reviews. And today, it is a wrap on Chapter 5. The Sound of Oscar. This chapter has focused on the composers, songwriters, and sound teams that orally entertained us this past award season. And given that we wrap a journey in this chapter, what better film to visit than the one that was a wrap on the first phase of a journey of dozens of films and TV shows and beyond that will still be invading our screens later this year. Our Oscar nominee today is José Antonio García, who this year earned his 3rd Oscar nomination for being on the sound team for one battle after another. Now, if you've never seen The Avengers, here is your quick, spoiler-free setup, and if you have seen it, don't worry, this is not a full MCU Phase 1 recap. After years of plotting, dark forces are in need of a powerful item, the Tesseract. An unknown being has enthralled Loki, played by Tom Hiddleston, to assist in stealing this item to open a portal to allow an Earth invasion. Successfully stealing the item from S.H.I.E.L.D. and the watchful eyes of Nick Fury, played by Samuel L. Jackson, and a possessed Hawkeye, played by Jeremy Renner, Loki sets off to begin the next phase of the plan. Now, as a result of this, Nick Fury has to initiate the Avengers Initiative, where he will work with one of his top agents, Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, played by Scarlett Johansson, to recruit the special individuals with the power needed. Who are they? Well, recently defrosted Captain America, Steve Rogers, played by Chris Evans, scientist-turned-rage monster, the Hulk, Bruce Banner, played by Mark Ruffalo, playboy and tech aficionado, Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, played by Robert Downey Jr., and through a series of events also brings about the God of Thunder himself, Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth. Initially not wanting to play together in the sandbox, the group comes together to solve the problem, but this is not without its hiccups because each one has their own agenda or way to go about it. However, after an attack results in a beloved character dying in battle, ain't that how it always happens? The team does come together, with the little shove from an interested party, and begins to fight as one. Breaking the hypnotic spell on Hawkeye, our 6 heroes set off to save Earth from Loki and the attacking alien race, the Chitauri. From this, like every great comic book film, we will see a battle to save Earth with loud explosions, breathtaking action, and quippy dialogue because, hey, how can you not? We all know the story, right? The Avengers was the first real film of its kind to successfully bring together a series of characters, who all had solo outings before them, coming together for one big film and showing how several plot threads can be brought together. This was Marvel's formula that worked well in Phase 1, stumbled a bit in Phase 2, soared in Phase 3, though that one was a little long, stumbled again massively in Phases 4 and 5, and now we are one film in, Fantastic Four, into Phase 6, so we will see where we go with Doomsday. But 14 years ago, it was a recipe that worked. Whedon, I will say, despite the controversy, and I'm not, here to talk about him, I'm going to say in the one skill that works here, he is good, as he's proven, with bringing together an ensemble into a big film and making each character feel like they have time and we can invest in each character. It succeeds here. Really for the first time, we learn about each of them, and no one's really a throwaway or just kind of there for filler. I can't say that's the case in other Avengers films, but in this one, we're balanced. The dialogue, it's quippy and clever, providing just as many laughs as there are moments of action, and, even embedding a few moments of sadness, such as the death that I referenced earlier. And the battle for New York that makes up the 3rd act is amazing and truly looked like a comic book come to life. However, is it a perfect movie? Not entirely. Unlike Blade, though, I will say, which I recently discussed, what I appreciated here was no unnecessary subplots to distract from my point of action. Everything is really centered on this main conflict. And even at a runtime of almost 2.5 hours, it never feels like it's taking extra time in an unearned manner. And sure, when I first saw this film, I thought it was one of the best things I'd ever seen. But looking back and really looking at it critically for this rewind, I'm like, you know what? It's not perfect, but it's damn close. All of the performances are excellent. You can tell that these actors protect and love these characters, and no one's just phoning it in. I mean, they know it's a comic book film, so it's not like they're, running for the big awards, but you can tell they're not just here for the paycheck. Well, I'm sure they were nice. The standouts amongst the cast, obviously, Downey was born to play Iron Man. Hiddleston can never give us enough Loki. And I have to say, Ruffalo was a really, really good addition taking over for Norton, giving Banner a more well-earned and real-earned humanity and character to root for. That while I do love Norton as a performer, don't know if he would have had the same impact. The design elements are fun and really bring the comic sensibility to life, though worth noting, they get stronger as more films flood our way. The visual effects are outstanding. The Shatari are really a sight to behold. The action sequences captured by Seamus McGarvey are stunning. The sound team is on point. The reason we're here, Garcia and everybody else, they deserve their flowers. Those real-world sounds, the extraterrestrial sounds, everything blends together beautifully. Now, let's talk about the box office and the awards. The film currently sits with $623,357,910 domestically and $897,180,626 internationally, giving it a worldwide take of $1,520,538,536. Critically, for I believe the first time this season, the film sits with a 91% on both sides. 363 critical reviews, over 250,000 audience reviews, we get the same number. With over 120 nominations, it did end its journey with a visual effects nomination at the Oscars, as well as at the BAFTAs and the Critics' Choice Awards, and varied other fan-based awards. Also, the sound team was nominated for Best Sound Editing for sound effects and Foley in a feature by the Motion Picture Sound Editors, and it won 2 out of the 6 awards it was nominated for from the Visual Effects Society, winning for Models in a Feature, specifically for the Helicarrier, and Outstanding Created Environment in a Live-Action Film, specifically for Midtown Manhattan. And also, at the time, although that number has since been surpassed, I believe, recently with Spider-Man, but in 2012, The Avengers did set the Guinness World Record for the highest-grossing domestic opening weekend of all time. Look, The Avengers is a hell of a lot of fun. It set a high bar that would take almost another 10 years for them to clear, but I can confidently say this was a fun, action-packed, well-acted, well-crafted, 4-star film, currently streaming on Disney+. And hey, with Doomsday coming out in a few months, this is the perfect time to get in your rewatches. And that's it for episode 44 of Season 3 of Oscar Rewind and the end of Chapter 5. If you enjoyed this episode and want to check out the others, make sure to subscribe to the channel, check out the playlists, and let me know in the comments, what's your favorite MCU entry? Please follow me on all social media platforms, and check out my website, cinephilemike.com, for more great exclusive cinematic content. I will see you all for the next rewind and the next chapter, but until then, this is Cinephile Mike telling you to take a break and watch something new.